Welcome to Springboro 45066, Part 1. In our November-December show, we're devoting the entire show to our veterans. We'll begin by talking with all the members of the Warren County Veterans Service Commission. We'll stop by the Warren County Community Service Center and talk to Eugene Rose, the CEO, about all the services they provide to veterans and our community. At the school, Carrie talks to Keith Pullman, social studies teacher and staff sergeant, United States Army Reserves. I'll meet your neighbor. We'll talk to Ed Bud Baker, and this is all happening right now on 45066, Part 1. We are here live at Heatherwood, and the holidays are right around the corner, Carrie.
I know, they are coming.
November, December, exciting time.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about Christmas in Springboro.
Of course, we're getting ready. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. But before we do that, this Part 1 is exclusively centered around what we do in Warren County. So you're going to see a person who lives here, who works for them, who drives, veterans. You're going to see all about the Warren County Veterans Service Office. You're going to see all about Eugene Rose and Warren County Services, does Meals for Wheels. And then we're going to have an interview with Carrie with Mr. Pullman.
Yes.
Who just deployed, and you're going to tell something about him. So anyway, let's direct our attention and go to Lebanon, Ohio, the Warren County Veterans Service Office. Veterans Day is right around the corner, and we are here live at the Warren County Veterans Service Office. We are sitting at a commissioners meeting, and it's my pleasure to welcome the commissioners to the audience. I want to start off with Chief. You're the president of the board. And then we want to go to our Vice President, Jerry Ferris. When I say Chief, it's Gary Copeland. And it's Jerry Ferris. And then our Secretary is Bob Blankenship. And then Commissioners John Looker and Jim Kilgore. And they're going to tell you a little bit about what you need to know if you're a veteran or a family member of a veteran about what's going on in Warren County. So Chief, why don't we start with you? Look into the camera and tell the audience a little about yourself, who you represent on the board, and what your vision is.
Yeah, my name is Gary Copeland, and I represent the Marine Corps League here in Warren County. It's Detachment 968, which is the chosen reservoir. What we do here is first of all, it's so rewarding, fulfilling to us, because we're out here to help veterans, whether it's to help them work on their service claims, financial assistance, or even transportation, like to and from doctor's appointments. We provide those services to veterans and or their widows, which kind of takes the burden off their family and off themselves. So we try to reach out to the 1,700 veterans that we have, or 17,000 veterans that we have here in Warren County, and just provide assistance to them and try to make it better for them.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice President.
Well, thank you, John. My name is Jerry Ferris, and I'm a Warren County Veterans Service Commissioner, and I represent the American Legion all over the county. And you know, the thing is what we try to do is get the word out to let other veterans know what we're all about. When I came home from the service, I had no idea that places like this even existed, that there were benefits that I could get for relatively service-connected disabilities or educational assistance or just transportation. So what we do is we canvass the county, and with the American Legion, we have, I think there's 5 posts that I represent right now through the county. And we try to organize events and help getting the word out where all of the service officers are located, and how to make appointments to come down and get some things done for yourself. And so with that, it's, again, like Gary said, it's rewarding. It's one of those things where I feel privileged to be able to give back from after serving in the military and now trying to help others to find out what I've learned.
Mr. Secretary, I understand you've been on the board longer than anybody here.
That's right, John. My name's Bob Blankenship. I represent the VFW in Warren County. There are 5 VFW posts in Warren County. Give you some of the numbers that we do. In the month of September, the drivers drove 26,987 miles, transporting 711 veterans. Our all-time high was 800, and that was last month or the month before. For the month of September, we assisted 70 veterans, and we spent $41,166.78. We do a terrific job. We used to be the best kept secret in Warren County, but through our radio and TV ads, we have increased our clientele quite a bit, and we're helping quite a few more veterans.
Commissioner Looker.
My name is John Looker, and I represent the Disabled American Veterans. We only have one chapter in the county, and it's Chapter 59. And we meet at the Mason American Legion. But I wanted to go a little farther than Jerry went on trying to help veterans. We have a lot of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans that I don't think we're reaching out, getting the message to. Because they were just like Jerry, myself, Gary, Bob, and Jim. When they came home, it was just from the battlefield to a job. So we need to reach out and get those veterans in here and not have them go through 25 years of carrying that weight on their shoulders. Thank you.
Commissioner Kilgore.
Yeah, I'm Jim Kilgore, and I represent the AMVETS in Warren County, and we have one post in Franklin, Ohio. And to just reiterate what everyone has said here, I think our primary goal is to just make sure that the veterans and the spouses and widows of veterans are aware of the services that we provide here by emergency financial assistance, assisting with the VA claims, and anything we can be of assistance to. We've all got big hearts here, and I think we all our primary goal is just to make sure that we help as many veterans as we can get through the issues that they're having.
You know, one of the things that's really important as commissioners, they oversee a budget to help the veterans, but they all have skin in the game. Every one of these commissioners were veterans, so they care. It's near and dear to their heart. And the variety of things that they do, people really don't know about. So, you know, they go to parades, they take care of graves at cemeteries. I mean, all the number of things. So maybe you guys might want to just sort of touch on, let's just say, for instance, somebody walks into the office and they just heard about it on the radio, or they looked online, or whatever the case may be, and they just walked in the office, they had no appointment or whatever. Where would we start with somebody like that? Do they have to call and get an appointment, or can they walk in? I mean, what? I know normally you want to have an appointment so you can keep everybody serviced. But let's say, for instance, somebody just didn't know better and they walked in. What would happen on that particular situation?
Well, typically our relief office, Justin Smith would greet them at the door, or Everett Riddle, and ask them how they could help them. And if they needed financial assistance, they would have them fill out an application and tell them what they needed to bring back in to complete the application. Or if they needed to see a service officer, they would contact or see where they lived, because we divide our service officers up by locations. And depending on where you live, like I live in Morrow, and my service officer is Rick Spencer. And Jerry lives in Springboro, and his is Debbie Kaufman. And so they would schedule you for that, or just find out how we could help them. If they need a ride, you need a copy of your DD-214, so they could get you in the system, and then they will take you to your doctor's appointments, wherever the doctor appointment may be, provided they have the availability. We have 3 handicap vans. Have a total of 11 vans, and we're getting more handicap vans because we have a larger population of handicapped veterans that have wheelchairs or scooters or just whatever, and need the extra van.
And that's important. People don't realize how important it is to some of our vets who may be incapacitated or don't have the ability to drive, or maybe they have a vision problem or a hearing problem, or who knows what it might be. And if they have an appointment, they can't get well if they can't get there. So these commissioners have a transportation department, as Bob alluded to, that will go and pick these veterans up, take them to the Dayton VA, the Cincinnati VA, the clinic, and wherever else, and wait for them, as I understand it, and then bring them back home again so they made their appointment. And you would not believe the difference in people's lives that make. And it helps them get on the road to recovery. And speaking of the road to recovery, you touched on somebody walking in. Not only do they service veterans with their claims and stuff like that, but if somebody really needs, it's not a handout, but if somebody really needs financial, we all go through trials and tribulations, don't we, Chief?
Yeah.
And at some point in time, somebody needs to be picked up if they're down and out. And these folks, they watch, cross the T's and dot the I's, make sure it's all legit, and then they will lend a helping hand to a veteran. And that veteran then can maybe pay a bill or something to get back on their feet to go forward. And I think that's just an important, and that's part of your meetings when you handle the appeals and the claims and stuff like that. So, it's just a great service. I can go on and on. I'm a cheerleader, obviously, but it starts with the commissioners, and then all the people who work for the commission. We have about 22, 23 people full time here.
Yes.
Yeah. That's county drivers and everybody. So. And somebody want to talk about that, Chief, or somebody about the 5901?
If I could just to kind of add a little bit, one of the things as commissioners, and not only are we here in this office, but we're out throughout the entire county. And it doesn't really matter whether we're in Warren County, Montgomery County, Claremont County, etc. When we see a veteran that is wearing a cap or a sweater or a sweatshirt that has a service emblem on him, one of the things that we do is we go up to them, we talk to them. How you doing? If they're a Vietnam vet, we say welcome home. We look at them and ask them and say, oh, are you aware of your benefits that are available to you? Have you had a chance to talk to anybody in one of the service offices? And if they don't have a good answer for that, or if they say yes or no, then we make sure that we give them a card and say, okay, if you need something, here, give us a call. Stop into our office. We're right down here, 320 East Silver Street in Lebanon, Ohio. And we're here for all the veterans. And as we alluded to earlier about the Iraqi veterans and Afghanistan veterans and even the Gulf War veterans, trying to get the word out is difficult because a lot of them are coming home after multiple deployments that are not totally aware of the benefits and the processes and organizations that are available there to help them. So we try to do that as our own personal outreach.
Chief, you want to touch on budget, the 5901, where the money comes from or something like that?
Yeah, the 5901 is the ORC code that it is basically our guideline that we operate from within. Warren County, it is a tax that is received by all the taxpayers in Warren County. And approximately $3 million, I believe, about $3 million is awarded to the Veterans Commission to service veterans. Now, for example, if somebody comes in for financial assistance, what we do is we make them fill out an application. In that application process, they must provide their bills, what their basic cost of living is, and so we can look at their debt and their income. So if the debt is higher than their income, say they bring in $2,500 a month, and it shows that their debt is about $3,000 a month, and it puts them in a financial bind, that warrants what we call financial assistance. And we may help them, whether it's to help pay for fuel. For example, some of the elder population live on fixed incomes. Say you have a widow of a veteran, and say she's 88 years old, and she has fuel that's delivered by Likens or some other fuel company, and that's what she uses to heat her home, and she financially can't afford that. We would look at the debt to income and what she brings in and how much her expenditures are, and we would award her financial assistance. We would pay for that fuel to help basically keep heating on her house. Other areas that we might help them on is groceries. We help with groceries. We also give fuel by way of, we give them a receipt or a fuel chit that basically it helps them go pick up fuel so they can travel around and have means throughout the county or wherever they need to go. So these are some of the financial areas that we try to help people and that are veterans and or widows of veterans. But that's all comes from that $3 million that we collect.
Another area.
You want to touch on that, Secretary Becker?
Another area that we cover, like Chief was talking about, a lot of the senior citizens who are living on fixed incomes want to stay in their home, but they really can't afford the property tax to pay, every year, every 6 months, and so we help them with that. Again, it's based on income to expenses, and we do a lot of paying real estate taxes, which actually comes back to the county, and then we get our 0.5 mil out of that inside millage.
And we were talking earlier, Bob, about we're around 16,000, 17,000 veterans in Warren County, and if we were to add the widows or spouse or whatever, what do you think that number might be? Well over 20?
Between 20 and 25 maybe.
So that's a great demand to help our veterans out. And that's what they do, and it's just amazing how they have been able to help so many people over these. I remember when Warren County Veterans Service Commission really, at one point in time, wasn't even on the map. These folks have not only taken it and ran with it, I believe they're the best in the state of Ohio. I really do. I know I'm biased when I say that, but it's true. The proof is in the pudding, and they do a marvelous job. So, you have something, John?
One of the reasons that, one of the things that we use here is our outreach program. And we try to get to a lot of the events in the county, and it's also around to the Middletown VA on some points. But there's another way to reach us and find out about our services, which is our webpage, and that is warrencountyveterans.com. So please go out, take a look at it. I think all of our names are on there, or a way to contact us, and get a hold of us.
The phone number to contact the Veteran Service Commission here is area code 513-695-2717.
Okay. As we're going to take you back and show you the service officers in action, as well as the relief, and the brains of the outfit, which is Amanda, who we tease all the time. She's our lady who keeps us all in line. So, but before we do that, I would like for every commissioner to give a closing comment about something that we may have not touched on, because this is really important. This is about our veterans. Where would our country be without our veterans? And it could not be more apropos right now with Veterans Day coming up on November 11th. Maybe somebody might want to touch on the breakfast that's coming up and different things like that. Bob had a newsletter, so just, Chief, start with you if you want to make any closing comments to the audience.
Yeah, I would think that this is, again, I said it was a rewarding position for us to be in, to be able to help veterans. This country is free because of our veterans. We have the freedom and the Second Amendment rights, all of our rights to be able to do what we want because of our veterans. If we didn't have these folks out here fighting to keep this country free and to keep us stable and strong the way we are, we wouldn't be free. And so, again, it's so rewarding to be able to help them. In the event we have a veteran out there, I just wanted to make sure everybody knows, and you lost your DD-214, our office can also help you try to get a DD-214 if it's lost. So I just wanted to make sure that was also thrown out there, because a lot of people have misplaced them or moved and couldn't find them anymore. That is another service we provide. But again, I'm happy to be able to work at such a great office that does such a great job, and to be amongst peers that are great to work with. All these commissioners, and then working with the mayor, he's been a great asset to our team. It's just a great experience for me, and again, very rewarding.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just for the audience, he was one of our Meet Your Neighbor segments. He lives in Springboro. So, Mr. Vice President, what comments do you have?
I just want to say thank you to all of our board members here for allowing me this opportunity to be a commissioner. We are appointed by a common pleas judge for 5-year terms, and to be honest with you, it's a thing for me to it's so rewarding and so self-satisfying that I'm able to participate and to help veterans throughout the county. It makes me feel good all over. And without these guys, it helping me along the way, learning the ropes. When we talk about 5901, all of the different processes and procedures and the benefits that are available to all of our veterans, it makes me feel good when I can reach out and help somebody. And so that is a key thing. So like Gary just said, freedom is not free. We paid a very high price for it. And so when you see a veteran, please go up to him and say, thank you for your service, welcome home, give them a big hug, make them feel special.
Mr. Secretary, before I ask you to make any comments, if anybody knows they want to sell a classic car, they want to buy a classic car, this is the guy to get a hold of. He's got about 25 Mustangs and every kind of classic car in the world. So, Bob, that's a commercial for you.
He drove the red one today.
He likes to sell the veterans first.
I did. The Veterans Commission has been very, very good to me, and I haven't received their assistance, but I've received a lot of friends and made a lot of friends in the Veterans Service Commission. There are 2 events coming up Veterans Day weekend. The first is on Friday at the Warren County Career Center. It's a Veterans Day breakfast. Starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then there's other activities during the day for veterans and veterans' families. And then on Sunday the 11th, which is Veterans Day, it's the actual 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Morrow is going to hold a Veterans Day parade celebrating the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Parade lineup is at 1 and parade starts at 2 o'clock. Short parade, but very historic.
Commissioner Lipper.
There's a couple of events that I wanted to talk about. First, before I go into that, though, everybody refers to the chief. He's the chief of Waynesville Police, and he's also the mayor of Waynesville.
No. Manager.
Manager of Waynesville.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that up before I went into this. But there's a couple of events that are coming up that I'd like to speak to. One of them, I live in Mason, and we are having a Veterans Day ceremony that starts at 6 p.m. on November the 11th, Sunday. The other event that probably a lot of people don't know about is a group called Blue Skies for Good Guys and Gals. And they are having an event coming up here on November 11th from 10 till 3 o'clock p.m. And for those of you who don't know what that is, Blue Skies is a nonprofit organization that brings in every July Purple Heart veterans and Gold Star families. And Gold Star families are the ones who's lost a loved one. But if you could just remember that our freedom is really not free, and say a prayer for our veterans who are out there serving, protecting this country right now, and not only for them, but their families and loved ones, because they are part of that we really need to keep in our back of our minds. Thank you.
Hey, Mayor, if you don't mind, could I capitalize on the fact that he's saying about events? December 1st, at the Walmart in Mason, Ohio, just off Mason Montgomery Road, the Marine Corps League will be doing its annual Toys for Tots. I know it's a little distance from Springboro, but it's a great cause. It's for the children that are less fortunate to be able to get them toys and stuff. But the Marines do that every year, and our Marine Corps League will be at the Walmart in Mason on December 1st from like 9 to 2 p.m. Good. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Oh, yeah. Thanks for letting me step in. No problem. Sorry about that, Jim.
That's all right.
Last but not least, Commissioner Kilgore.
Yeah, I retired from the Air Force in 2014, and I was looking for a way to stay involved and be involved with veterans issues and ways to help. Primarily due to the fact I lost my best friend to suicide. He was struggling with PTSD, and couldn't find a way out, and ultimately decided to take his own life. So the opportunity to come on the commission here and make an impact in other veterans' lives. If I can just, be there to help one veteran, it would be all worth its weight in gold to me. What we do here is so vitally important to Warren County and the veterans that are here. I can't see myself ever not wanting to be a part of this. Come out to one of the events that we've just spoke about, our outreach. Folks will be there with our motorhome, passing out literature. You can meet some of the staff, some of the commissioners will be around. But if you're having having trouble, don't let your pride get the best of you, is what I would say. Come in and ask for help before you take drastic measures.
Very good. As he's a familiar face too, because he lives in Springboro. He was the Grand Marshal of the parade, and also Meet Your Neighbor, as was Commissioner Ferris. So, in closing, I just want to thank you. We're going to go get the B-roll, but I want to thank you, commissioners, not only for all you do for our veterans in Warren County, but for your sacrifice in serving our country. You have skin in the game, your heart's in the game, and all your actions speak louder than your words. So thank you for being a part of our 45066 show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
As we discussed at the commissioners meeting, some of the duties we have, we're with one of our emergency relief officers, Everett Riddle. Welcome to the show. You want to tell the audience a little bit about what you do when you're helping veterans in relief?
Pretty much what I do is I help veterans that are in need of financial assistance. So if we have a veteran that may be homeless, or he may have problems paying his bills, or he may have a disconnect notice from a utility, what we then do is we step in and we help the veteran out as far as taking care of that for them to make sure that they're not in that situation.
Okay, and when they come in and they fill out the paperwork, you're doing the checks and balances to make sure they really are needy, right?
Right. One of the requirements is, and as much as the veteran may not like it, we do have to review the bank statement. So we have to kind of find out their financial records from at least the last 30 days.
Yeah.
So.
And part of Everett's function for the audience's benefit is to make sure when the veteran comes in here they feel comfortable.
Right.
So because nobody ever wants to come in and really ask for a handout.
Right.
And when they need it, they need it.
Right.
But it's your and Justin's job to make them feel sort of warm and fuzzy.
Right, right.
And then that way it brings out the best in them, and then you're able to do the best for the organization. And we appreciate that. I know that TLC goes a long way, right?
Well, one of the cool things, too, is I actually started off needing assistance here myself.
Oh, okay.
So I came in and I kind of understood the process and had all the documentation that was needed to assist, and they were able to help me out for that time being.
It's a great success story, Everett.
Right, definitely.
That really is. Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
You walk the walk and talk the talk.
That's right. So, I when a veteran comes in, I actually have felt what they felt. So it's kind of good to experience what they have.
Okay. Well, you want any closing statement you want to make to the audience about what it means for you to be here or anything like that?
That's a really good question. It's a really good opportunity to be here. I've been here for about 5.5 years, and I love helping the veterans out, getting them to point A to point B. And if you want, you can look at that little corny post over there where it says success. That's one of my goals, is to make sure every veteran is successful once they leave here.
Thanks, Everett, for being on the show. Appreciate all you do every day for our veterans.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
I'm standing here in Amanda Stevens' office. She's our administrative assistant. She keeps us all straight. Amanda, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Besides keeping us all straight, the commissioners and employees, et cetera, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what you do here?
I am the administrative assistant, and I actually handle the financials here at Warren County Veteran Service Office. And what that entails is I make sure that the veterans that come in, as well as the staff, have the tools and resources they need to succeed.
Great, great. Also joining us in here is our transportation coordinator, Jim Plaguey. Jim Plaguey, welcome to the show as well.
Hi.
Well, we discussed a lot of the stuff that you and the management may do, and we wanted to come in firsthand and talk to you. So when you say transportation coordinator, we talked about the 13 vans that you have, or 11 vans?
We have 12 vans.
12 vans you have. So why don't you tell the audience what you do with the 12 vans?
We transport our veterans here in Warren County to and from medical appointments, and we're doing roughly 800 to 850 runs a month. So we handle quite a bit. We stay busy, drivers are on the road, we take care of quite a bit every day. We only do medical transportation, and we have gone as far as Cleveland. We've gone to Lexington, Louisville, Indianapolis, Columbus.
Would you say your primary is Dayton VA, Middletown Clinic, Cincinnati VA, or Olive Line?
We do a little bit of everything. So we transport to and from the VA hospitals, to and from the C-Box, and personal doctors, outside doctors, dentists, and everything else.
So when you see folks in this office, those who don't know about this place, you come in, say hello to both of them, and they will help you. Okay? Thanks both of you for being on the show.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have one of our 4 service officers here. I want you to meet them all. The audience sec. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You want to just tell briefly what you do for our veterans when they come in here? And you're being a veteran yourself?
Okay. First of all, when a veteran walks in, we greet each other and we discuss some of the benefits that might be available to them, such as if they qualify for any service or non-service connected disabilities. We also go over some agencies within the county to see if there's anything that would be viable to them. I also introduce them to Justin and Everett to make sure there's no financial relief or emergency relief that they may need. And I also tell them about the 3 divisions of our office, which is transportation, benefits, which is what the service officers work into, and then we also talk about the emergency relief. And with that being said, then we just go from there and we elaborate, and they can, usually it opens up a door for them to tell me things that happened to them when they were in the service, or things that they're not service connected for, or other benefits, and they'll continue to ask me questions about other things with their families.
And you're one of our valued employees. You've been with us for how many years now?
It'll be 14 years in February of
close to
next
14.
year. Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you do for our veterans.
You're so
Thanks for being on the show.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Another one of our valued service officers is Rick Spencer. Rick, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Thanks, sir.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit quickly about what you have done and what you do and how long you've been here?
I've been here a little over 6 years. I was in the Army National Guard and regular active duty Marines.
Hoorah.
Semper Fi.
Yeah.
But I've been a service officer here for about 5 years. I started in the financial aid office first.
And I understand you do a very, very good job for us. Everybody recommends you highly. You have a real passion for that. So why don't you tell the audience what it means to you to be a service officer?
I love my job. I love being able to help the veterans get the stuff that they deserve, and I take pride in what I do. And
so if somebody would needed help about their claim or whatever, and they had never been here before, how would they get a hold of you? What number would they call?
all they have to do is call me at 513-695-1877.
Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for what you do each and every day for our veterans and what you did for our country. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This is another one of our service officers, John Lucas. John, thank you for all you've done for our veterans through the years. You've been here how many years?
10 years now.
I know. Yeah, you've been here a long time. You're one of our valued people who take care of our veterans. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about how passionate you are about taking care of veterans?
Well, I love my job, love taking care of veterans, and without a doubt, the bottom line is this country would not be the country it is without the American veteran. It's that simple, and we need to do everything we can for veterans. That's pretty much it.
I don't think I said it any better. So if a veteran needs some help when they're getting a claim or getting something to take care of, they'll call John Lucas at what number?
That's 513-695-1885.
Thank you so much, John, for taking
my
the time.
pleasure.
Thank
Absolutely.
you for being all you've done for the veteran and for serving our country.
That's my pleasure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What an incredible group of men you've assembled. Holy cow.
Well, you know what? They service our veterans in so many ways. And in that same vein, we're going to go see Eugene Rose, who's the CEO and executive director of the Warren County Services about
great.
Meals on Wheels. So let's go see Eugene.
Okay.
We just left the Warren County Veteran Service Commission office, and on our way here, we stopped by close to the Atrium Hospital. We're with Gene Rose. Eugene, it's so good to see you, as always.
Good to see you, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, when I hear about Meals for Wheels and all the different things that you do, why don't you just tell the audience a little bit about what your persona is in the county and what you do to help people?
Well, Warren County Community Services is the most comprehensive and largest nonprofit in Warren County. We provide Meals on Wheels, we provide senior services at the other end, Head Start services. Our youngest client is 6 weeks old. Our oldest is about 103.
Oh, wow.
And we provide family services, about 15 major programs. 60% of what we do is senior services, and the other 40% are children and family services.
Okay. And your money that you get is from the county, a certain amount from the county, or donations, or combination, or?
Combination of a lot of
those things. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know that we get a good bang for the buck. I mean, you really do a lot of great things. I've rode with the people who do the Meals on Wheels before, and it's just it's heartwarming to go to somebody's house and give them a meal and strike a little conversation for somebody who's less fortunate, and that's a great thing. Now, I know that you recently moved, so tell us about how your new home, so to speak, is doing.
Well, our new home is doing wonderfully. Our executive offices and 741 Center are still on the Otterbein campus where our main office building is, so I didn't want to scare anyone. We're not moving. However, back in August of 2017, we moved into this building, which is a 14,000 square foot facility. 7,000 of it is finished as a professional kitchen, offices, assembly area, and the other 7,000 is housing our vehicles and all of the rolling stock So it's a very, you'd appreciate it, it's a very, well, you know, you've seen it, it's a very military-esque operation.
Yeah. So I guess one of the questions I would ask you is, let's say we have a less fortunate person out there and they need some help. Where would they go to do that? How would they come and talk to someone about getting some help if they need a meal on wheels, or if they need some kind of assistance? Where would they go?
There's a one-stop number, which I'm going to address the audience. It's 513-695-2100. 513-695-2100. That's our one-stop shop, which is also the information and referral number, the equivalent of the 211 service in Warren County. So even though we provide most of the major social services in Warren County, if someone is calling, how do I pay my tax bill to the city of Springboro, we can either directly connect them or give them the number or both. So that's the one-stop number really to call. And if it was senior services, you would explain you or a family member needs that, they would refer you to our elderly services program. And from there, we would work with the individual and their families to make sure they get everything which is proper for them.
So the one-stop shop, so to speak, is a directory of all the services, and you'll guide them where they got to go to get that help.
That's exactly right. Whether it's our agency, a county agency, a local city government,
You're gonna help
whoever, we're one number.
You're going to help them. That's a good thing to know, because you know how, especially some of the older people who don't really like computers, or they don't have an iPhone or something like that, and they get on the phone, they don't want to just talk to a recording. They want to get a live body, some help. So that's a nice thing to know.
You know how they say there's an app for that?
Yeah.
They don't have an iPhone, they don't have a computer. We have a program for that. In our senior centers, we have a trainer who, among other things, he teaches computers to people that have never turned one on, or how to use their iPhone or Android. So we can even, the help is practically limitless.
That's fantastic. That's a good thing to know. It's a great service we have in our backyard. I mean, we just left the Veteran Service Commission and found out all the things for veterans to tap into. Yeah. This is a wonderful thing, because this is really more multifaceted, because this is basically anybody who lives in Warren County that needs help. Well, the other one's just sort of limited to veterans. So, well, I appreciate all.
Although there's a lot of, if I may, there's a lot of crossover there too. In our senior centers, this is what is so critical, we host a number of clubs, including a veterans club, in which the Veterans Department in Warren County is involved there. And a neighbor of mine from my neighborhood, who you know, Robin Kiley, is the head of Stand to Serve. And they have no physical location, so I let Robin, she's a delight, she hosts the Stand to Serve meetings at our building.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, you know the old saying, rub the old elbows around everybody, and everybody gets a piece of the pie at the end of the day. And when you network like that, it's heartwarming, because you can make such a difference for people. Yeah. Well, do you have any parting shots for our audience? So anything you think that they need to know that we've covered the bases? I mean, I tell you what, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Meals on Wheels? Is that 1 square, 2 square, 3 squares a day? How many meals when you do the meal? How do you do that? You take so many to them and
Well, there's not a one size that fits all. As part of that ESP, the Elderly Services Program assessment, we will send an assessor out, a care manager to their homes, or they may come to our office, and we'll come up by working with their physician if necessary, if there's special meals, and we will come up with a meal plan, whether it's special meals or people who are healthy and don't need special dietary requirements. They get a menu a month in advance, and they choose from an A meal or a B meal. These are all freshly made right here in this commissary. We do have fresh frozen meals, but they're not like TV dinners. They're just that. They're fresh frozen for people that only want it delivered once a week. Yeah. Most of our recipients get a midday meal daily, Monday through Friday. There are safety measures built in for when there are weekends. We have shelf-stable meals. Every recipient has 2 shelf-stable meals and 2 fresh frozen meals. So for natural disasters, emergencies, snow days, those sort of things, no one is going hungry.
You've covered the bases. You really have. That's remarkable. That's pretty. That is really pretty. I bet that's just something, just trying to keep up with all that.
Well,
how many people in Warren County are on meals, getting Meals for Wheels?
In Warren County, there are approximately 1,500 meals daily. And then we've just recently, within the past year and a half, we've acquired territory in the eastern third of Butler County. So just the other side of I-75 here, we go as far west as Trenton and all of Middletown and down to Monroe.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
You know what's fantastic, if I can get a plug in for you?
Oh, yeah.
We have so many great leaders in Warren County, and I have to say, you and I have been personal friends a long time, but you're one of them. You are there. This is a man that walks the walk and talks the talk. He comes and delivers Meals on Wheels. He's not just doing it at election time.
Well, I appreciate that. You know what? The difference is that I'm a public servant and not a politician. And I think we all could work better if we did that. I mean, you and I can make so much of a difference when we work together, and everybody else can do the same. They just need to do it. And unfortunately, they don't. I mean, you know, we got an American across our chest long before anything else. So, and I know your dad was near and dear to your heart. Was he World War II veteran?
World War II.
That's how we really met.
2 Bronze Stars and 1 Silver Star.
That's incredible. That's a real hero right there. Well, the World War II, you know, I can't say enough about them. I'm just leaving with Veterans Day right around the corner. But the World War II, Tom Brokaw said it best. He says it's the greatest generation of all time. I've read that book 3 times.
Yes.
And every time I read it, I find something I forgot that I read. It's just a remarkable. I like Tom Brokaw anyway. So anyway, thanks so much for being on our show and sharing a story. Eugene Rose.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Eugene. We appreciate all the great things you do for our folks who are in need. Well,
we are headed to Springboro High School to meet an incredible gentleman. His name is Keith Pullman. He's currently not teaching at the high school right now because he's been deployed, but we caught up with him right before he was deployed. We are at Springboro High School today with a very special guest, Staff Sergeant Keith Pullman. Everyone may know him as Mr. Pullman from the high school, of course, our world history teacher. Staff Sergeant Pullman, I understand you are going to be deploying very soon.
I am. I'm actually going to be mobilizing. It's going to be a stateside mobilization to El Paso, Texas.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so it's going to be my family and I moving from October of this year to October of next year so that I can support the mission of training different soldiers for their individual tasks and their individual missions overseas.
So this is part of your commitment to the Army Reserves, correct?
Well, it's kind of interesting because my background in the Army Reserves is not in teaching, it's not in instructing.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, all the people who are chosen for this mission, most of them do not have a background in being a military instructor.
Oh, wow.
So whenever I was tasked for this, I was kind of surprised because I thought, oh, I'm going to be doing my real job, which is IT related.
Sure,
More with computers, phones, printers, and so on and so forth. So whenever I was tasked for this mission, I was like, oh, well, maybe they're choosing me because I am also a teacher in my civilian career. But I guess the military found a need for us to go and supply this mission regardless of our MOS or our military background.
Sure, sure. Now, if you can, and I realize, you know, some things we can't talk about, but tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing this year that you're away.
So whenever you have a group of soldiers who needed to be trained on an individual level, not a whole unit who's mobilizing, but these individual little squads or little squadrons or whatever, because we'll be doing Air Force as well. They're going to be coming to the CRC, which is the CONUS Replacement Center in El Paso. They come, they do the different certifications, they go through the different training, the different lanes, and so on and so forth. We have them for about a week. Once they're certified in, you know, basic medical first aid, in addition to anything that's part of the basic skills necessary to, I guess, stay alive overseas. We are with them for about a week training them, and then they are gone by Friday, Friday morning. Friday evening, we get a whole new assortment of soldiers and or other service members. And we usually have between 90 to about 130 or so rotating in and out every week. So I know with this last year, they had trained about 20,000 soldiers, and we're hoping to actually do that same amount within the full 12 months that I'm going to be there.
My goodness. So for the next year, you're going to be training men and women who will then take those skills overseas on behalf of our country.
Correct. And whether they're going to the Middle East or parts of the Mediterranean, I guess, or anything else for Northern Africa, or even into Cuba. I mean, these are the kind of missions that are still out there that we still need to certify the different service members on.
Sure, sure, sure. Now, something that I found really interesting is you have a little bit of job security here.
I do, yes. When I found out that I was getting mobilized, even before I actually had my mobilization order, it was actually very nice to just be able to talk to my department chair, as well as Kyle Martin, the high school principal, and said, hey, I'm getting mobilized. It's most likely going to be falling in these dates or anything else. What is it that you need from me? And from that point, even without paperwork, I was able to just say, all right, well, this is what I know. I'll give you paperwork when I can, but we obviously need to find a long-term sub. And after many different phone calls or emails and everything else, we actually went through with a long-term sub. And David Herring, he's going to be the one who is not only qualified, but incredibly excited to be teaching this class in my absence. But I actually sat in on the interview process, which was actually
wonderful.
Really cool.
That's neat.
Yeah, it was interesting to be on that side of the interview
Sure.
by any means. But so the whole process for my employer and for my wife employer for Miamisburg, for Miamisburg, was actually pretty easy as well.
That's wonderful. So that's something else I wanted to touch on is you have the luxury of bringing your family with you.
This is true. We are approved for family members to arrive there. However, because I'm not an active duty soldier going to an active duty new duty position, as a reservist, we still have to pay out of pocket to move our family. So I think it's great. Yes, I love the fact that I'm not going to be able, that I'm going to be there for my family, and they're going to be, you know, living on the base with me and everything else. But packing and paying to have all of that moving and everything else, that's kind of what I've been focusing on for the past month right now.
Sure, sure. Tell me if you have a message for your students that, you know, you won't be seeing now for a year. Do you have anything, like a message that you'd like to send to the community or to the students?
Well, I guess the main message is that I'm going to miss you guys. This has been basically my life for the past 5 years when I've been employed here at Springboro Community Schools, and it's been a lot of fun. Whether it's from the general students or all the way to my AP students. I wish I could see you guys graduate this upcoming spring, but I will most likely still be in Texas at that time. In addition to the fact that Mr. Herring is going to take care of you guys. I know a lot of you guys were upset whenever you heard that I'm going to be gone, but Mr. Herring, great guy, and I have total faith in him. And I also want to reach out to my wife. None of the different success that I seemingly have, whether it's in the military or within a teacher here, would not be without you. So I appreciate that, Noelle.
Oh, that was lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Pullman, thank you for your service to our country, to our school system. I should also note that Mr. Pullman is a past EPIC winner,
yes.
which is a huge deal here at Springboro Schools. So we know, about your contributions to the community. Thank you for your service to our country, and please come back safely.
Oh, I totally intend to come right back here. I don't even need any time off from the military. I want to come right back into, I guess, my second home of my class.
Sure, sure. Well, hopefully we can catch up with you next year upon your return and check back in and see how that year went.
Of course, thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
Best wishes to you.
All right, thank you.
Back to you. Thank you, Keith. It was an honor to have you on the program, and we can't wait to catch up with you when you return to Springboro.
Absolutely.
Oh, I hear a drum roll.
Meet your neighbor. And you know what? In this vein of part one of all the people who are serving our country, etc., we have someone who lives in Springboro who works for the Warren County Veterans Service. He drives a van, transportation department, and takes these folks to and from their doctor's appointments, etc., prescriptions, whatever the case may be.
You can't miss the van.
Oh, you can't miss the van. It's an absolute billboard. Warren County Veterans Service on it. So let's go talk to Bud. We are coming at you live from my office here at 550 South Main Street. We're with Ed Bud Baker. He is a transportation driver for Warren County Veterans Service. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bud, glad to have you on here. You know what? This whole show, part one, is all about what's going on in Warren County for our veterans, and also Meals on Wheels. So we do a lot of things. But since you live in Springboro, we had to have a Meet Your Neighbor. So you're just the guy.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Well, why don't you just tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
All right. I'm married. I've got 4 kids. They're all married and gone. I've been in Springboro, 13 years. I know that because my granddaughter was born the day we basically moved into the town. So
can't forget that birthday.
The night that I moved in, we had to go to Lexington, Kentucky to have greet our granddaughter. So I've been here 13 years now. Love the town. My wife loves the town here. We all grew up in the area. Right now I'm working for Warren County Veteran Services. I'm a veteran, U.S. Navy, 1975 to 1979, and just ran into a couple of the guys that worked for the Veteran Services here a few months ago, and they said, you ought to come work for us, and I said, okay, and here I am, 4 months later, been working for the group, and I just love the job, love being with veterans every day. Just hanging out with the vets all day. I like it.
That's a pretty good job. Veterans Day right around the corner. You know, what does it mean to you, Veterans Day?
I'm just proud to be a veteran. I mean, even my wife said, you know, being a veteran helped you get that job. And she said, yeah, I guess it is, but being a veteran just makes me proud. Proud to be an American, proud that I served my country. I'm the kind of person that will go to a parade. I'll probably go to a parade or two on Veterans Day. And I will stand, every time an American flag passes me, I tend to stand up and put my hand on my heart. It's just one of those things that I've always done. And it kind of irks me when people don't do that.
I know.
It's just something that I've always done. I'm just proud to be an American. I'm proud that I served. You know, I'm just grateful to be here. So.
Well, you know, those of us who have served, you know, we always wear a ball hat or a shirt or something, something with, you know, military paraphernalia, so to speak. But even though we wear hats a lot, we always take them off when
yes.
Appropriate. When I see somebody that doesn't do that, it gets to me too. And especially when all this great country we live in, people pay the ultimate sacrifice. But you spoke about maybe doing something on Veterans Day. You know that Warren County Career Center is having their breakfast on November 9th, Friday?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Great. Yes. That's great, yeah. Well, why don't you tell the audience, part of your job is driving. You're driving veterans. Where do you drive them to?
All right. Yes, basically our position is that we will take veterans and their families if they want to ride along. We also drive veterans, wives, husbands, widowers, and we will drive them to literally any medical center, not only in the state of Ohio, but we've had drivers go to Indianapolis, we've had drivers go to Northern Kentucky. We have one driver specifically that takes a few of our vets up to the Cleveland Clinic and Chillicothe, Columbus. Pretty much any place where there's a medical center. Doesn't just have to be a VA. It can be a medical center, any place that they need to go. And I'm talking medical, I'm talking eyes, I'm talking hearing, I'm talking, you know, any medical type center that we will go to. And our goal is to get them there on time. That's our main goal, is to get our vets there on time. We keep I-75 hot though. And you know, we do. We keep I-75.
Your vans are pretty good looking. If you haven't seen that Warren County Veteran Service van, I mean, it's pretty good looking van.
Yeah. Our bosses tell us that it's a traveling billboard is what we drive.
Well, you know what it is. It really is. So if somebody or their family member needs to get to an appointment, etc., what number would they call? Would they call the Warren County Veteran Service?
Right, it's the Warren County Veteran Services.
And then whoever would answer, they would tell them they need what's the process?
Right, well, first thing you got to do is you have to get signed up. Veterans, spouses, you get signed up by going down to Warren County over in Lebanon, and you need your DD-214. They'll have some more questions for you. Get signed up on there. Once you're signed up for us, what you do is once you got your doctor's appointments ready to go, you just call our staff, our coordinators, and once you call our coordinators, they'll set up the time, you get the time, we will be there, you know, and we will get you there where you need to go.
This is Monday through Friday, right?
Monday through Friday, yes, that is correct.
Well, there's any appointments on weekends anyway.
Yeah, some of the, you know, the hospitals and all that, they normally don't take anyone in unless emergencies, of course. So
now this is pretty much a service that they provide in Warren County, right? So if you
yes.
So if you live in Warren County and you're a veteran or a member of a veteran family, so to speak, then you have this ability to do this and use this service, right?
From corner to corner, north to south, east to west. If you live in Warren County, that is our job. That is your your ability to use us as a service to get to your medical appointment. The biggest thing about this that I've always enjoyed about being part of this group is that this service to a veteran or a veteran's family, it is a free ride. You don't pay Uber prices. You don't pay a taxi service. You don't pay a bus service. Our service to the veterans is free of charge.
Because they earned it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And you have handicap vans as well.
Oh yes, as a matter of fact, I drive a handicap van. I drive a wheelchair van. My van is equipped to be able to take at least 2 wheelchairs if I needed to, or I can take a wheelchair and up to 3 people in my van if I needed to. So we have family members ride along with us all the time, and it's a great thing. We have, I think, 4 vans, maybe 5 vans that are equipped with wheelchairs. We can take wheelchairs, scooters, you know, whatever's needed to be able to take the veterans out.
Well, you know, serving your country, I want to thank you, obviously, for all you do for veterans at Warren County Veterans Service Office, because we had the folks on the show, and we want them to have you as a meet your neighbor and also a driver, and so that really makes it. But I want to thank you for doing that for all of our veterans. I know it's near and dear to your heart, but especially with Veterans Day right around the corner, I want to thank you for serving your country.
Well, thank you for serving your country, Mayor. Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, it's Bud Baker.
Thank you.
Well, you know, Kerry, this was a little different show, part 1, than we normally do, but I thought it was, you know, high time that we let our folks in Warren County know some of the benefits that's out there for them.
Sure.
So, you know, we try to inform people on all kinds of different things about our community, and now we sort of shifted that to the county. It was a great thing with Veterans Day right around the corner to really focus on that.
Sure,
so.
sure. Well, and our veterans are so important to our community and our country, obviously.
And we all appreciate that. So for those who watched our show, stay tuned for part 2. It's more about Springboro, but this was about our county. Get ready for the holidays, Veterans Day, November the 11th, and then Turkey Day right behind. I know we're going to be having some turkey, right?
Absolutely.
Until the next show, we will see you.